Hello learners, I am Dr. Rajendra Kumar Naik from NIOS. At first I would like to welcome to our program Senior Secondary Mathematics, and today we are going to discuss an important and basic fundamental topic in your textbook, that is sets, and today with us Dr. Rajpal Singh, PGT Mathematics, RPVP, New Delhi, and sir, I would like to welcome to our studio.
Thank you, sir.
And on behalf of learners, at first I would like to pose a question, that is, what is the basic concept of set?
Every day we come across this word set with some other words. For example, we have some of the collections where this word is used. As we can see on our screen, we have a word sofa set, another word is tea set, then a jewelry set and a dinner set. See, in all four these they are collections, but everywhere we find this word set. It means, first of all, it must be clear that set is a collection of objects. But do we say that every type of collection will be a set? Let us see one more picture. In collection of sofa set, we have got one more chair, that is a plastic chair. Now in this collection, can we say again that it is also a sofa set? Obviously no, because this plastic chair is disturbing this collection, and when this plastic chair is included in collection of chairs of sofa, we do not say it is a sofa set. One more example, we have a collection of utensils which we say a dinner set, and one more utensil, a cup plate, is included in this collection, and now as a whole, can we say that this collection is again a dinner set? Obviously again the answer is no, because cup plate cannot be included in the collection of utensils of dinner set. It means in both of these two examples, these two collections were disturbed. We were not calling them a set when a plastic chair was included in sofa chairs and a cup plate was included in utensils of a dinner set. Let us go through some more examples. Here we have two types of different collections. One collection is collection of interesting books in library. Another collection is collection of mathematics books in library. If we see the first one, now question arises, how we will decide that which book is interesting, because it will depend on the interest of one individual, that in which book he finds interest. So it is quite difficult or say controversial to find out a collection of interesting book for which everybody will agree. And in the second one, this is very much clear, that particular book will be included in this collection, the book which belongs to the subject mathematics. So here it is very much clear that what book will be included in that collection and what book will not be included in this particular collection. Let us take one more example. Here is one of the collection is collection of good cricket players of India, and another collection parallelly, that is collection of players those who have played test cricket for India. See, in the first one we will find that again it is very much controversial to select that which player is good and which player is not good. Opinion will vary from person to person, but in the case of second collection we can decide it very clearly that which player will be included in the collection, because we know that who are the players, those who have played test cricket for India. So after going through with these examples, we can define a set mathematically, and we say that set is a collection of well defined objects. First one, it must be a collection, and secondly, this collection must be well defined.
Sir, here one question I would like to put, that is, what is the exactly meaning of well defined object?
Okay, yes, this is very much important, or say the soul of this definition. Well defined. What do we mean by this word well defined? I would like to tell you the word well defined very first time was used by German mathematician Georg Cantor, and by well defined he clearly indicated that if every element or say every member of the collection is having a defined property, a particular defined property on the basis of which we can decide whether this particular member can be included in this collection or can not be included in this collection, then we say it is well defined. Means if it is included, we say this member is defined to be included in this collection, and if it cannot be included in this collection, then we say that this particular member is not defined to be in this collection, maintained to be a set.
Sir, second question is how we represent the sets.
Now we have understood that what collection is a set and what collection is not a set. Now the second question naturally what you have arise, that is how to represent or say how to write or how to describe a set. Let us take it through one example. Suppose we have a collection of vowels of English alphabet. So set of vowels of English alphabet, it will be written as, set is represented by the capital letter S, and we simply list down all the members of that collection which we want to describe. They are A, E, I, O, U. They are separated by comma and then they are enclosed by a curly bracket. This is the way we write a set or say we describe a set, and this particular way of writing or describing or say representing a set is called roster form, simply listing down the element separated by commas and enclosed by a curly bracket. See, in the second one you are finding that all these alphabets are written haphazardly, means their order is changed now. So while writing a set, it doesn't matter that on what place or what order a particular member is written or representing. So as whether it is written as A, E, I, O, U or S equal to E, A, I, U, O, they both are the correct description of the set. Order of representation does not matter when we represent a set. Secondly, this set was a smaller one. There were only 5 elements or say members A, E, I, O, U. But what happens when the set becomes a larger one? We will see it in this example. This is set of letters used in word mathematics, and set is written as M, A, T, H, E, I, C, S. If we see, the word M was twice in the word mathematics, but in the set we find it is written only once. Again the same type of things is there. Alphabet A is written only once and T is also written once, while these alphabets were appearing twice in the word mathematics. It means this is the second rule of writing a set, that when we are describing or writing a set, we do not repeat the members of the collection. Means if any member is appearing 2 times in a collection, while representing the set, we write it only once. Now, what will happen if the set is a larger one? Here both the sets were having very small numbers of collection, very small number of members, A, E, I, O, U or say M, A, T, H, E, I, C, S, very small sets. Let us now discuss one more set. Here the set is set of all Indian citizens. We know very clearly that which person is citizen of India and who is not a citizen of India. Here we have represented this set with a blank 2 curly brackets, and if we want to write down this set, we have to write down names of all the persons, those who are citizen of India, and we can imagine that it will be too difficult not a feasible idea to write down a set in this particular form. Or say if I want to write down a set of natural numbers from 1 to 1000, in that case also I will have to write all natural numbers from 1 to 1000. I have to separate by comma and then I have to enclose them in a curly bracket. It will be not a practical thing, means it will be too difficult and representation will not be so convenient to use. So this type of larger sets, we have got one more way of representing a set, and that is called set builder form. Now let us see how do we represent this particular set in set builder form. Here, when set was set of all Indian citizen, we represent it in this way: A equal to X, then two dots we can see there. These two dots means such that, this is a symbol which is used, X such that, and now we define the X. What is X? In our example, X, it was an Indian citizen, so we describe it in this way: X such that X is an Indian citizen. Again I repeat, when we describe the set in this particular way, we represent all the elements of that set with X and then we define X, means what is X. As in this particular example, it is an Indian citizen. This symbol of two dots, this is called such that. So we pronounce it X such that X is an Indian citizen. So for representing larger sets, this is the way which is feasible and convenient to use. So large sets, they are written in the set builder form, and the sets which are a smaller one, easy to write, we write down in roster form.
So sir, here set can be represented two forms. One is the roster form, another is the set builder form. So thing is, can we convert roster form to set builder form or vice versa? Can we do it?
Yeah, we can do it. It depends on our requirement. Means if in some case set is given to us in set builder form and we need the set in roster form, or set is given in roster form and we need the set in the representation of set builder form, we can convert that. Let us understand through an example. Here a set A is 2, 4, 6, 8, 10 up to 100, means this is a set of even natural numbers from 2 to 100. Now I want to describe this particular set which is written in roster form. I want to describe it in form of set builder form, and I will write it in this way: A equal to X. Now I have to define X. What is X? X is, I know that is an even number, and we know how do we represent an even number. Even number is written as 2n, where n is a natural number. So n belongs to n. The symbol which we are looking at between n and capital N, that we pronounce belongs to. And now I have to restrict the length of set, that is 2 to 100. So I put the value of n, means n is less than or equal to 50. So all elements from 2 to 100, they are defined by the way that X is 2n, means an even number, and that is less, where n is less than 50, so automatically by the way of 2n it will become less than or equal to 100. Or in another way, if I have to describe a set which is given to us in set builder form and I have to write it down in roster form. See, set D is equal to, it is defined as X such that X belongs to R and X square minus 7X plus 12 is equal to 0. If I solve this quadratic equation X square minus 7X plus 12, I get the values of X as 3 and 4. So the elements I find in set D, they are 3 and 4, and I know if all members of the collection are 3 and 4, how to write it in the form of roster. So in roster form, I list down 3 and 4, I separate them by comma, enclose in curly bracket, and set is represented in roster form, which is D equal to 3, 4.
Now what are the different types of sets?
Yes, sets are classified in different forms, and when we talk of type of sets, in one glimpse we have seen just now that sets could be a very larger one, set could be a very smaller one. So, on the basis of size, sets are of two types. One is finite and another one is infinite. For example, finite set is A equal to A, E, I, O, U. Means here in this particular example of set A, it is quite possible to count all the elements. Elements are 5. So, in any set, if we are able to count the elements, the total number of elements we are able to find out, we say the set is finite. Or another one, if we are not able to count down the elements, then it is infinite set, means total number of elements, if it is not possible to count, as it is appearing in another set which is B equal to X, such that X is a natural number, and we know natural numbers are infinite in counting. Next type of sets we find that set is defined as empty set, and as it is obvious with its meaning, empty means it doesn't contain anything. So, the set is X such that X is a number which is less than 0. You know, we don't have any natural number which is less than 0. So, A is empty, it doesn't contain any element. The same type of set is defined below that, X such that X belongs to R, means X is a real number, and X square equal to -1. We know that we don't have any such real number whose square is negative. So, B also doesn't contain any element. The symbol by which this set is represented, that is phi. This is a Greek alphabet. The next type of sets we have, that is a singleton set, and this is defined through an example, X such that X is a woman president of India. We know till the date India has got only one woman president. See, till the date India has got only one woman president. So, the set is defined as a set which has only one element. That set is known as singleton set. Now, we have three sets here. Set A is A, E, I, O, U. Set B is written as 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and set C is written as 2, 1, 5, 4, 3. See the relation between set A and B, that they both have 5 elements. Elements in set A is also 5, elements in set B are also 5. Such sets are called equivalent. Another one, set B and C are written, the only difference is the number of element, the order of elements is changed. They have the same exact number of elements and have the same elements also. In that case, the two sets are called equal sets.
So, now question is, sir, what is the basic difference between equal set and equivalent set?
Yeah, the difference between equal and equivalent is that in case of equivalent sets, only the number of elements are same. But in case of equal sets, not only the number of elements are same, but elements are all exactly the same.
So, we can conclude that all equal set are equivalent, but reverse is not true.
Yeah, all equal sets can be called equivalent, but all equivalent sets are not equal sets.
Yes, we have seen that if two sets have same number of element and equal, then we can say these are equal and equivalent set. If are not equal, then what kind of set we can say?
Okay, see, sets may have same elements, may have same number of elements, and may have different elements or different number of elements. See, if different number of elements or say different elements are there, now let us understand what we call them. See, let us see in this example, two sets are there. Set A is 1, 2, 3, and another one, set B is 4, 5, 6. These two sets are entirely different. They don't have any element or say any member common. Such sets, they are called disjoint sets, means two sets are said to be disjoint sets if they do not have any common element. Such sets are called disjoint sets.
Today we have discussed three things mainly on set theory, that is set, how we have to define set and different types of sets, and how we have to represent sets, that is in roster form and set builder forms. So, thank you sir, today you have joined to our studio.
जीवन ये प्रकाशित करने, राहों को आलोकित करने,
जीवन ये प्रकाशित करने, राहों को आलोकित करने, हम अपना दीपक स्वयं बने, हम अपना रास्ता स्वयं चुने, हम अपना दीपक स्वयं बने, हम अपना रास्ता स्वयं चुने, जीवन ये प्रकाशित करने, राहों को आलोकित करने।
धन साधन समय की सीमा से विद्यालय जो मुक्त हो, धन साधन समय की सीमा से विद्यालय जो मुक्त हो,
कभी पढ़े हम कहीं पढ़े, वे विषय की लोच से युक्त हो,
कभी पढ़े हम कहीं पढ़े, वे विषय की लोच से युक्त हो,
मित्रों हम उठे और जागे,
मंजिल आने की ध्वनि सुने, हम अपना दीपक स्वयं बने, हम अपना रास्ता स्वयं चुने,
जीवन ये प्रकाशित करने, राहों को आलोकित करने।
राष्ट्रीय मुक्त विद्यालय का है द्वार खुला सबकी खातिर, शिक्षा परीक्षा का अवसर एक बार ही क्यों मिलता फिर,
शिक्षा और परीक्षा का अवसर एक बार ही क्यों मिलता फिर दुनिया में इसके केंद्र बहुत,
कोई मन चाहा केंद्र चुने, हम अपना दीपक स्वयं बने, हम अपना रास्ता स्वयं चुने, कोई मन चाहा केंद्र चुने, हम स्वयं बने,
घर बैठे पाएं राष्ट्रीय मुक्त विद्यालय शिक्षा संस्थान यानी NIOS में एडमिशन, वो भी एकदम आसान तरीके से, जिससे शिक्षार्थियों को होगी समय और धन दोनों की बचत। NIOS से शिक्षा कभी भी कहीं भी। शिक्षार्थियों, क्या आप जानते हैं NIOS में एडमिशन लेने का सरल और सुगम तरीका, जिससे शिक्षार्थियों को ऑनलाइन प्रवेश लेने में सहूलियत मिलती है। NIOS में प्रवेश की प्रक्रिया पूर्णतया ऑनलाइन है। शिक्षार्थी घर बैठे इंटरनेट द्वारा प्रवेश के लिए सबसे पहले NIOS की वेबसाइट www.nios.ac.in पर लॉगिन करें। अपना ईमेल आईडी और पासवर्ड डालकर अपना पंजीकरण करें। पंजीकरण के बाद लॉगिन करने पर ऑनलाइन प्रवेश हेतु आवेदन पत्र खुलेगा। आवेदन पत्र को निर्देशानुसार भरें और प्रिंट आउट लें। इस प्रिंट आउट पर अपनी फोटो संलग्न करें। ऑनलाइन प्रवेश के लिए शुल्क हेतु भुगतान के तरीके हैं: क्रेडिट कार्ड के द्वारा, डेबिट कार्ड के द्वारा, राष्ट्रीयकृत बैंक के ड्राफ्ट के माध्यम से, जो कि सचिव NIOS नई दिल्ली या नोएडा के पक्ष में देय हो। भरे हुए आवेदन पत्र के साथ साथ डिमांड ड्राफ्ट और संलग्न किए जाने वाले दस्तावेज हैं: जन्म रजिस्ट्रार के जिला कार्यालय से जारी जन्म प्रमाण पत्र की सत्यापित प्रति, जिसमें जन्म तिथि अंकित हो, पिछले विद्यालय से प्राप्त विद्यालय छोड़ने का प्रमाण पत्र, जिसमें आवेदक की जन्म तिथि लिखी हो। प्रवेश फॉर्म का प्रिंट आउट NIOS के संबद्ध क्षेत्रीय केंद्रों पर 10 दिनों में पहुंच जाना चाहिए, अन्यथा उचित दस्तावेज न लगे होने पर आवेदन फॉर्म रद्द किया जा सकता है। प्रवेश प्रक्रिया की पुष्टि होने के बाद शिक्षार्थियों को परिचय पत्र व अध्ययन सामग्री डाक द्वारा तुरंत पहुंचाई जाती है। ऑनलाइन प्रवेश एक बहुत ही सुगम और सुविधाजनक प्रवेश प्रणाली है। ऑनलाइन ऑन टाइम फॉर सेफ एंड सिक्योर एडमिशन।